God calls us to be holy. And the other is God commands us to love. Commands us to love. Call to holiness. Commandment to love. I thought about a personal story, a memory experience that I had when I was a child to kind of get us started on this thinking of being holy and love. So I had this ritual that I did with my dad when I was growing up. And we would race each other to get dressed in the morning. I was about maybe 6 or 7 or 8. I can't remember how many years we did it. And he would usually be ahead of me because I, he was older, so he would be a little ahead. And then he would always shine his shoes in the morning, with the actual polish and all that. And so I would always I would always win because I had tennis shoes. So I didn't have to worry about that. And then we would go into the restroom, the bathroom, and then he would shave. And he would lather up using those little brushes, and use a little razor where you have to twist the end of it to get it, and then he would shave. And then we would have talk, father-son talk. So one day I was sharing with him that I was having trouble at school because there were these kids bullying me. And it was really bothering me that these kids were bullying me every single day. So I told him my thoughts on the matter. I said, I wish I could shoot that kid. And so, he said, well, if you did that, you would get in trouble with the teacher, so you shouldn't do that. So, using the wisdom of humanity rather than the wisdom of God, I said, well, I'll shoot the teacher. And he said, well, if you shoot the teacher, then you'll get in trouble with the police. And I said, well, then I'll shoot the police. And he said, well, if you shoot the police, then you'll be in trouble with God. Then I said, well, then I'll shoot God. And I don't remember how quick it happened. But all of a sudden, I just got a wow on top of my head. And I was like, well, I don't know who God is, but there must be something special about him. Called to be holy, commanded to love. God is different. I learned that at a young age. God is different. Because God is holy. And only God. But we are called to be holy. So how can we be called to be holy if only God is holy? Well, what does it mean to be holy? And I think that if someone were to say, okay, you're at Church St. Augustine's, what is St. Augustine's like? We have some visitors. Someone say, well, what is St. Augustine's like? I say, well, we have a loving community here. People are very loving and caring and compassionate, and we know each other's names, we know each other's stories, sometimes too well. And we have a very loving parish, and we help those in need, etc. But if you say, well, is your parish holy? Or do you know anybody in your parish who is holy? So we know people who love. But we might be a little bit more difficult it might be more difficult for us to figure out, well, is it holy? And part of that is because we're more familiar with what love is than we are with holy. Now, we use the word all the time. All right, we talk about holy people, like the Pope, right? The Pope is holy, your holiness. We talk about the saints being holy. We talk about certain things. The sanctuary is holy. You don't do things in here that you do out there. Like we don't let the kids run around in here, which they are getting a sense of it now. Don't run around in here. Because this is holy, it's the sanctuary. Holy relics. Sometimes we have things that like my crucifix that I wear, or maybe you have a prayer card, or maybe you have something else. So we use the word holy, but we don't think of it in terms of us. And I am called to be holy. And my church is called to be holy. And my family is called to be holy. What does that mean? So there are different ways of approaching it. One would be to say, well, being holy is something or someone that is set apart for the purpose of God. There's something about that person or that thing that is special or that's relevant to God. So our saints are holy because they are set apart from other people. They live differently. They think differently. They act differently. in some way because they are following God. The things that we use in Mass are holy because they are set apart for God. The tabernacle is holy. Okay? The water that we use to bless ourselves is called what? Holy water. Because we don't use it to drink. We'd have to be pretty thirsty after all those fingers go in, right? And I've had to tell a few kids that, don't drink that water. That's not what it's for. It's holy water. So it's set apart for a certain thing. But I think another way of thinking about holiness is in terms of a person, someone who is in union with the will of God. Someone who understands God. Someone who has a relationship with God that causes him to act and respond to things of this world differently. It's interesting that Paul says, did you not know that you are a temple of the Holy Spirit? And he asks it in a way that every time I hear that, I think about that all new again. Like, yeah, I forgot. Even though I know the passage, I forgot. I am a temple of the Holy Spirit. Did you not know that you are called to be temple, that you are the temple of the Holy Spirit? And if anyone tries to destroy that temple, well, then they have to deal with God. God will destroy them, is what this passage says from Paul. We are temples of the Holy Spirit. And when the Holy Spirit dwells within us, that by virtue of that makes us holy. Because we have the Holy Spirit within us. Now what about love? Well, we know about love, right? We just had Valentine's Day, so we know about love. But do we really know about love? Did you know that there are often three different ways in which love is described? There is love for a friend, or love for a brother or sister, called filial love. If you think about Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, that's where Philip comes from. It means love. Love in the sense that I love this person because it's a brother or a friend, and that we have a closeness, that we're just close like that. Then there's another love, eros. Now when you hear eros, you might immediately think of the way the world has changed that and distorted it to be erotic. Okay? Erotic is a reflection of what love is supposed to be, but it's not. Because it's love between two people. I love you, you love me, we love each other, we see the beauty in each other. And God created that love so that we wouldn't be alone. So that we would have somebody, if it is our calling in life, our vocation, to have a relationship where we make each other better, and we love each other, and we're helpmates on our journey as we grow closer to God. And then there is agape love, which is the kind of love where you just love someone because God loves them. You love someone because God created them. You love them because you just love them. And that's the kind of love that God has. The example that we have is Christ. I don't love you because you're treating me well, because you just nailed me to this cross. But I love you because I love you. I'm on the cross because I love you. I put up with the crown of thorns because I love you. I put up with the spitting and the beating and the persecution because I love you. That's the sort of love that is a different kind of love. That's the sort of love that we're called to as Christians. So sometimes we know love, but we don't know love. One of the great examples we have is Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King talked about what we see in our gospel today, where Jesus says, "You've heard it said that you should love your neighbor and hate your enemy, but I say to you, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you." And Martin Luther King talked that talk and walked that walk. And to him, it meant that if I'm going to resist the atrocities that I see amongst my brothers and my sisters in the African American community, there must be a different way of doing it. And see, now we're touching on the holiness part. Because being holy calls us to do something different than what the world says. The wisdom of this world is foolishness to the wisdom of God. And those who have a relationship with God look like fools to the people of this world. So as Christians, we we should look foolish to much of the world. If you don't look foolish, if you seem to fit in really well with the world, guess who's the fool? I'm not calling anybody any names. Don't meet me outside and everything. But see, then we run up against something that was said in the reading, where Jesus said something that kind of should have caught your attention. I say to you, offer no resistance to one who is evil. When someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other one as well. Now, when we've had youth ministry, team ministry, we've had these conversation about this particular reading. And a lot of the guys told me that, I said, do you understand the passage? Yes. Would you ever do it? No. I said, why not? Because I'd be a punk. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, if somebody does something to you in the streets or in the schools or in the neighborhood, and you don't do something back right away, well then everybody's going to bully you. Now, keep in mind the story I started with. I was being bullied. And what was my response? Strike back with something stronger. Make them go away. That's the wisdom of this world. That's the wisdom that a lot of our youth are getting. I wish that more folks had a dad like mine who could kind of, let them know. It's a different way to be. God calls us to be holy. But Jesus is saying, offer no resistance to one who is evil. And we have to break that down a bit, because it seems that Jesus is saying on the surface, well, if you're a Christian, you should love people, and you should let people beat on you, and you shouldn't do anything at all, offer no resistance. That's not what Jesus is saying. Be clear on that. It's not what Jesus is saying. Because God is always consistent. So God says one thing in the Old Testament, He says the same thing in the New Testament. So God is telling Leviticus, the folks in Leviticus, He's telling Moses to tell the people, you shall not bear hatred for your brother or sister in your heart, though you may have to reprove your fellow citizens. Great job reading that. Though you may have to reprove your fellow citizens. What does that mean? That means, though you may have to correct them, though you may have to respond to them and let them know they are wrong. So Martin Luther King and Jesus and those who understand what it means to love and understand what it means to be holy, understand that it doesn't mean that you don't resist at all, even though Jesus says offer no resistance. It meant offer no physical resistance. But you can't let something that is not just continue. You need the grace to respond and tell someone that they're doing wrong. Otherwise, it goes on to say, though you may have to reprove your fellow citizens, do not incur sin because of him. So your response has to be a response in love. You don't respond by striking them back because they hit you. But you let them know that they're going down the wrong path. How did Martin Luther King do it? He let the nation know that we're not going to put up with this racism. We're not going to put up with this inequality, this injustice in education, in housing, in jobs, with police brutality. We're not going to put up with it. But we're not going to reflect back what you're doing to us. We're not going to be a mirror. We're going to be a light. We're going to be the light of Christ. We're going to reprove you. But we're going to do it in a non-violent way. And for us to be true to who we are as human beings, as creations of God, we must respond when we see something wrong. But we must respond out of love. And this is why King was so moved by Gandhi. Because Gandhi gave him an out. It's like, well, I don't know how to respond. I see that Gandhi did something, and he changed that whole nation of India. Without an army, without guns, just with love and non-violent resistance. This is what Jesus is saying. We know that we must resist evil. Because it also says in Scripture, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee. knowing of who we are because we are created in the image of God. You don't know who you are until you know God. You have no clue. And the wisdom of this world will seem like wisdom instead of foolishness. And the wisdom of God will seem like foolishness instead of wisdom. One last thought on holiness and love. There was a theologian, I believe his name was Jonathan Edwards, who was talking about holiness and love and the relationship between the two. And one of the ways he kind of depicted it is that if you think about the Trinity, the love between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that union, that love that circulates between the three. Okay? The Father loves the Son loves the Father, and the love between them is the Holy Spirit. Within the Trinity is love. If you're in the Trinity, you see love. You call it love. But when you are looking at it from outside the Trinity, what you're observing is the exchange of love, and you say that's holiness. So it's the same thing from different perspectives. So if you think about the people that we think are holy, what do we know about them? They have a relationship with this Trinity. And so we are looking at them and we're seeing holiness. So if we're called to be holy, we're called to be part of that exchange of love. And when we have that relationship, when we have that exchange of love, people will see us as holy. We are loving, but we're seen as holy. We're called to be holy. We're commanded to love. And we need to look and examine more of the examples that we have of holy people, holy men and women, and children. For example, St. Martin Torres, whose statue is here in the corner. Looking at Black History Month, what about Father Tolton? We're going to be visiting his gravesite and historic sites through the Tolton Society next month. What about those whose causes, besides Father Tolton, put forward to sainthood? Henriette Durrell, who started the Holy Family, Sisters of the Holy Family in New Orleans, caring for the sick. Nobody wanted to care for them because they didn't want to catch what they had. But the Black sisters said, well, we'll do it. And the next thing you know, they're allowed to have a religious congregation. Mother Mary Elizabeth Lang, whose cause they presented for sainthood, she started the Oblate Sisters of Providence, who started schools for African Americans. And then we have people like Father John Slattery, who started the Mill Hill Fathers, who went about trying to create African American priests when they were not. He was a Caucasian man. He had extreme bitterness towards him because he did this. And he did it because he was in the youth, because he was holy, because he saw that this was the way to love. There are many examples. I invite you to explore them and to share those stories. And to share those stories with the youth. So they know that it is possible to be holy. God does not call us to do something that is impossible. We are meant to be part of that exchange of love. We are called to be holy. We are commanded to love. And if we follow Christ and adhere to the sacraments, we are on the way there.